Hello, readers. This is Leonard Narify. At this time, I'm back with a new book, Bram Stoker, that I read a couple of months ago, but I didn't have the time to make a video because so many things was happening in my life. So forget about it. So, readers, today I'm trying to summarize the book Bram Stoker, Dracula. On my tour, Jonathan Harker left Munich to arrive in Budapest because then he has to go to Transylvania to meet the Conde who bought three properties in England. However, when the last train arrived, he has to be picked up by a man that the Conde sent it to him. But when this person or thing arrived, the energy of Jonathan was so hard and he couldn't believe that until he arrived in the castle of the Conde, which was so courteous, and they talked about a little about their lives, and the Conde um, wanted to Jonathan to stay there because he wanted to learn about the culture of the England. But Jonathan Harker was so afraid because in the way of 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 the castle, he saw many unimaginable things that he saw again, and he was so afraid. Then he on the next day was happening the same. The Conde offered the dinner, and he has already read, and he was, that is so strange. That why the Conde don't want to eat with me, says Jonathan Harker. So forget about it. And the Conde says, Jonathan, this is your room. You have to stay here, but only here. You don't have to move the other rooms because you don't want like it. And Jonathan said, this is not happening because I saw many things that I don't believe. I saw the Conde Dracula walking outside the castle like a spider. I saw three girls eating a baby. So I don't want to stay here. And he was so afraid. The Conde said, Jonathan, you have to stay here because I have to learn the culture and you have to write some letters to your boss and your girlfriend, which is Mina Murray. Mina, many days passed and they exchanged letters from Mina and Jonathan. And Mina said, Jonathan, go back soon because I want to be married with you. And Jonathan was thinking that he was so in love with Minamura, he has to only close the business with the Conde Dracula, and that will be an impossible mission. While Minamura was there, she had a friend named Lucy who has a five guys pretending her, and she choose the most wealthy man who is Arthur, which is a doctor, and they become a couple the next days. However, this doctor has a patient named Renfield who is classified on esophagus, and esophagus means live urine. And he ate mosquitoes, he wanted a kitty to eat, and he ate all spider mosquitoes, all the horrible things that you imagine. However, Renfield was the person who substituted Jonathan Harker. Right now, Renfield is a mental institution That is the reason that Jonathan Harker is replacing him in this mission. Dracula was traveling to England on the tripulation on a ship, and this ship was something that the navigators or the people who travels in the sea never imagined it. First, they saw the the tripulation saw a man. The next day, three of them just died. And when the tripulation arrived in the destination, which was England, the captain has died already, and no one knows how this happens. However, all we know that it was the Conde Dracula who killed them after who to make sure to arrive in England. When he arrived in England, he saw a Mina Moonray, and he became in love. But Mina Moonray ignored him three times and then say, I didn't have enough education with this man. This man is just asking me for a place and I think I can help him. And they become friends because um just because from conversation they enjoy it so much together. In the same day, something happened to Lucy. Lucy became attacked and she has two holes in her neck. And the only person who can help Arthur was the professor Van Helsing. Abraham Van Helsing was a metaphysics professor and also he studied he was so in fashion about the drugs and those things like that. You can say, okay, I think Lucy needs a transfusion because she's losing so much blood, but I have to say how this can be happening if she was eating and she was aware, she has a health lifestyle. Abraham has to say, no, need a transfusion, so you better have to donate her. And he gave her the blood. But 3 days after, she dies. When she dies, children of Tara become disappearing, and no one understood what was happening. Why was children disappearing? When Van Helsing understood that she is part of the Dracula and she is eating in the nights. So one day they hide it to catch Lucy and imagine everything happening. They saw Lucy with a baby in her tomb. So Professor Van Helsing took them, took the stick and killed Lucy, and also cut her her head. I think it was Arthur, not Helsing. Yeah, Arthur killed Lucy to make sure she never eat children again. When those happened, Jonathan Harker was with in a church because the religion priests and the ladies of the church helping him and they helped him to send a letter to Mina Murray about married. And Mina married with Jonathan, but in her mind was the Conde. However, she accepted to become engaged with him. And then the Professor Van Helsing said, no, Jonathan had to say, I know where the Conde hides because um, because he sold those properties, right? And he said he knows where was he. So they decided to kill the Conde Dracula because they didn't want to more lives disappearing. So they planned a plan, and Jonathan Harker in the last was the person who, with with a sword, killed cured the throat of the conde, and the conde was dying. However, the conde already baptized Mina Moonray with the blood of the Dracula, and she was the connection. And many things happening between Mina and the conde. When finally the conde was killed by Mina, because Mina was the last person who has to done the job that the Jonathan Harker already did, and they killed the Dracula, giving him peace. Because remember, Dracula was a Christian, was a religion fighter, and he killed many emperors or many people who opposed the religion of the priests in the past. And that is the reason he has to kill. That is the reason between the connection. No, I think that is not any connection. I think is what is just starting to understand who is the Conde Dracula and why he's doing that things. All we have to know that in the end, the Mina, Jonathan, and Mina, Jonathan, and the Van Helsing was having a dinner and was celebrating because Jonathan and Mina will have three babies in the future. And that is how ended his amazing book. I know I lost some parts, but let me know if you already read these books, which is your favorite part, or let me know which part I do you think that I missed, because of course I missed so much important things, but all I have to know is just write in the comments. And so see you next time with another book review. See ya guys.